Hey everybody, welcome back to Vina Calvary with David and Lisa. We're glad you joined us today and we're hoping everybody's having a blessed day. I hope you enjoy this video. We're talking a little bit about pain and suffering and persecution and evil and good and enduring to the end.
That's right.
And I'm going to let David take it over now.
A lot of us have been taught in church that once you become saved and you become a Christian and you start going to church, that the world's going to change for you and that the world is going to be cake and candy, lollipops, and just chocolate, and everything's wonderful and you won't have any more problems, and the problems in your life will just go away and everything will be great, and you're going to prosper and you're going to be blessed, and you're going to get all these riches, and you're going to get all this stuff and everything like this, and they just build you up and build you up, and you're going to be the head and not the tail. You're going to be all these things. And in a very minute way of looking at it, that's possibly true to a degree.
Let me kind of clarify that. That's the way we are on the inside spiritually.
There you
when
go.
we become a Christian.
There you
That's
go.
the way it is on the inside in a spiritual way. But what we're talking about is that so many people tend to forget to say that's how we are spiritually, that we have all this wonderfulness and we're prospering and we're the head and not the tail, and
We're
we have all
blessed
this
going in
goodness
and we're
and
blessed going out.
absolutely,
That's right.
and that's all spiritual. You have to think that living in this corrupt world, it's not going to be like that on the outside. And a lot of people confuse that, the spiritual with the physical. So spiritually, we have all those things.
Exactly.
It is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's liberating, and it's just overwhelmingly joyful. But people confuse that and start to make it become a physical thing, a fleshly thing, a worldly thing, and that is not necessarily the case.
Exactly. For example, Jesus said that we will receive the promise. Okay? Well, that's true. You will. You will receive the promise if you endure unto the end, because Jesus Christ himself didn't receive the resurrection until he endured unto the end. And I keep saying until the end. What the end is, death. Death is the end. Death is the end. So you have to endure until your last breath to receive the promise of all that God is having for you. And we need to be ready to endure that pain, to endure suffering, because the world is a very corrupt place. And it's always been corrupt. It's been corrupted since Adam lost
Dominion.
Thank you so much. I was searching for that word. Over the earth to Satan. Now, how can we assure you of this? Well, it's been assured in several different scriptures, but I'm going to leave with a few of the easiest ones to follow. Isaiah 5:20 through 23. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Now, that explains this world currently to a T.
Yes.
It really does. Because you would think, in the past you would see where if you were an employee of a company, that if you worked hard and you did your job correctly and you were a good employee, you were promoted. You were given benefits to your work that you gave the company, because you benefited the company benefits you. But that's the way it should work. But if you look at companies today, this is exactly what you'll see. You'll see that you have, we'll go with 10 workers. Out of those 10, you might have 4 that are excellent employees. 4 excellent employees that do backbreaking work, because they're not only doing their job, they're doing the jobs of the rest of the employees, who tend to be mediocre at best. Those other employees are lazy. They try to find ways to schmooze the boss and get around the different things. and go other places. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'm just telling you a fact, okay? These other employees who are not getting their work done and not doing what they're supposed to are being promoted and being paid more money, okay? The other lowly employees who are frowned upon are not getting paid, and even though they're doing double work, if not triple work, they're frowny faced on, they're treated disrespectfully, they're talked down to, they're told that they're dumb, they're just, in a realistic terms, that is the way it is. Now,
Absolutely. And can I interject for
go
just
ahead.
a moment? What you're basically what I'm getting what you're saying is that we have to look in the spiritual look. We have promotion in the spiritual. We are rewarded in the spiritual from the good things that we do, the good fruits that we produce, the good works that we produce, and just being a good Christian, we are rewarded for those things in the good in the spiritual realm.
That's right. Lay up for
But
yourself
in
treasures.
the physical realm, people aren't seeing that promotion. They are not seeing the rewards. And all because they're doing good things. You don't get that in the physical, but you get that by God the Father in the spiritual, but yet you don't get it in the physical world, because most things that are rewarded in the physical world are the ones that go with the majority. If the majority are saying this is good, calling evil for good, and that's the majority, that's where you're going to get your rewards physically in this world.
Exactly.
So those rewards, you can do good and do the extra work and do those good works, but in the physical you're not going to be rewarded, because that's not the way the world is, because the world doesn't know you, doesn't understand that good works, doesn't understand what kind of person you've become and how the Lord's changed you. So you're not going to be rewarded in the physical that way, because that's just not what the world does. But God does in the spiritual realm. That is where your rewards are. So that's what I'm hearing you say, that you work hard and you're trying to get ahead, or you're trying to say, okay, there should be a reward for doing good things, and I agree, there should be.
Exactly.
But this world is wicked, and this world calls evil for good and promotes evil more than the goodness.
Exactly. And just like you said, that's why we're doing this video, so that you can understand you're going to face these things, and I don't want you to take a false step and go backwards and try to embrace that which is being rewarded. Because when you start embracing that which is being rewarded, or you get fed up and say, well, I'm not going to do that job anymore, I'm going to be slow, I'm not going to work hard anymore, why should I work hard when I'm being doing the work of 3 men and I'm not getting paid for it, they're being promoted. I understand where you're coming from, but you need to understand something too. The Bible goes on to say that we are to work as in pleasing to the Lord.
Yes.
We're not here to please man. We're not even
Right.
here to please self. We're not here to please pride. We're not here to puff yourself up. We're here to please
Right.
God. Whether it be right or wrong in your eyes, that is the way it is.
Yes.
We are here to please God. So I'm not telling you to be slow. I'm not telling you to cuss out your boss. I'm not telling you to do any of those things.
Right.
My simple point of the truth there is that we have lay up for ourselves treasures which are in heaven, which neither thief nor rust nor moth can corrode or corrupt. Okay, nobody can steal from us that which we have in heaven. And if we're working towards God as our Father, and we're doing a job as in pleasing unto Him, that's the person we're trying to please. So we always do our very best, because we're working for God.
Right, absolutely.
Now, I will go on to say, here's another representation of how corrupt the world is today. You have a male transgender person who wants to transmogrify himself into a woman. I don't know the technicalities. Anyway, so you have every news outlet in the country that will claim this person is a hero. They're so brave
and courageous.
They're
out.
so wonderful.
Great role model.
Isn't this awesome?
Yes.
You can have 50 soldiers who run into a blazing battle and save 100 other children and soldiers and everything else and be true heroes and risk their life
Yes.
to do something
Absolutely.
actually courageous with their life on the line. And these
Yes.
people are overlooked and bypassed. You have
Absolutely.
firefighters who run into a burning building to save children. These people are overlooked. And
Absolutely. And that just goes back. The example was the Jenner dude. And
yeah,
I
I can't
can't
think of his name.
remember. Anyway, I want to say it was Bruce Jenner.
Yeah,
Am I
Bruce Jenner
mistaken
is
that
his
had
male
changed?
name, but I don't know
But
what
you've
his
seen how he
female
was
name is.
glamorized and how he was put up there to be so courageous and so brave and put on the front of magazines, and just there was all the talk about how courageous and brave this man was and was doing at the time, and that's all you was seeing, that's all you was hearing. But yet, just like David said, the people that are actually doing the good things are overlooked. The people that are trying to help others and live a good life for the Lord, that they're overlooked.
Exactly.
So that's the point we're trying to make here. You know, don't think that your life is going to be wonderful and the world's going to change because you become a Christian. It's going to be, contrary, it's going to be really hard because you're not matching what's going on with what the world says is acceptable
Exactly.
and should be, I don't know, glorified in a sense.
Right.
So it's going to become harder once you become a Christian because you're not part of this world anymore. You don't call evil things good. You continue to call good things good and evil things evil.
Exactly.
And that's where it's going to really get into that point. Don't think, just like David said earlier, when you become a Christian, you're going to have all the stuff piled on you in the physical in this world. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to be cake and candy and I'm like, oh, my problems are gone. Oh, I have no worries. And that is true in a spiritual way.
Right.
But in the physical way, it's going to be as if the world is caving in on you at times to where it's like it seems unbearable. And that's where our faith comes in and our just laying our problems and our worries and our concerns at the feet of God, at the feet of the Lord, and say, this is yours. I have to give this to you because I can't do this on my own.
Exactly. Now, I have one more example and then I'll leave you with that. It seems that the world is trying to reward, just as you said, wickedness and evil and all the sins of this world are being rewarded. The more debauchery that you have in your life, the more it seems that you fit in. Okay, so for example here, there's platforms. We're not going to say who. We're just going to say that you probably have it. It's a platform where you are there with friends and family. It's a social media site, and that you're on it pretty much every day. That you can check up on the what's going on in people's lives and things of that nature. And I don't want this video flagged, so we're not going to say who it is. But they will flag your post if you have a post that is either promoting this country or the American flag, or if you have God, and they'll post it and flag it and say that it is either a violent or graphic image. And when you click on that and say show the image, it is an American bald eagle with the backdrop of the flag saying, God, please heal this country.
Yes.
So,
and there's a lot of other things that I've seen on this social media site that
or
people
being
will
red flag.
Absolutely, it's covered up. It's almost like you're gonna have to click on it to see it, but it warns you of it might be violent or it might be graphic nature onto it, and then when you realize some of these posts that are coming from people that I know personally know that they're not putting anything on there that shouldn't be on there because these are good people. And then you're like, I'm going to see what's going on. So you open it up and it is a Christian, some sort of, it pertains to Christianity. It contains to the Bible. It contains things about God. So it's the
censorship.
Yes, and it's a soft form of censorship. It's basically trying to deter people from looking at this. So we have to see that it is slowly getting in there. And as you go through your social media, you may notice these very same things when you're like, I know this person's a good Christian person. They would never post anything that's violent, they would never post anything that's graphic, and they put a thing up there that says that.
Right.
And you're like, wow, why would this person? And I understand there are people that come in there and they steal your profile and steal your account and stuff like that do things like this. But if you know that's not the case, then you can see how that is a soft censorship to what's going on, and it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get worse.
It's running towards a full out ban. It is what it's going. They're slowly testing the waters to a complete ban.
Absolutely, but they're not
Christianity saying that Christianity is going to be hate speech soon.
But the world's not censoring the actual violent things that you as a Christian would see as a bad thing, or as an evil thing, or a wicked thing. They're not censoring the graphic content. They don't mind just throwing that out there. Let's not cover that up.
Exactly.
But just let that be out there. See, the majority is what gets rewarded, and the minority is the one that gets that persecution, that gets that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, we're just giving you examples of how the world is, and I will give one more, then I will hush and we'll move on. You can't turn on your television. You can't go to the movies. You can't listen to music without some sort of either nudity, violence, or profanity, or something of that nature, to where you don't want small children in the room. It is horrible. You can't have anything family friendly anymore. The news itself is nothing but negativity because they refuse to produce any positive stories on anything positive. So you can see how the current of the world actually is right now, and it's not far from where it's going to be before the Antichrist comes. Luke 6:22 says that blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you. In other words, yell at you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake.
Yes.
I have a second witness to this also. Matthew 5:11. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. That lets you know right there. There's a time coming where men shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you for Jesus Christ. Because you stand up for Jesus Christ, you stand up for God, and the world will hate you for it.
Yeah, the world's not changing for the good. I mean, we see it all the time. It's getting worse and worse. It's going downhill. And that can cause people to step back from their faith.
Exactly.
Feeling like, oh, this is God's fault. God's doing all this to us. God is doing bad things to us. God's not helping us. But on the contrary, it helps us to grow and get closer to God and lean and press further into Him. To go to Him as a refuge, as being our high tower, our buckler. That's
the rock that we hold to.
Yes. And showing that things with this world, there's no comfort in this world, but there's comfort in the Lord.
Exactly.
And to press further into Him, that we're not going to have it, cake and candy. We're not.
That's right.
But we are the sons and daughters of the Most High.
Exactly.
And Jesus is already conquered, and He is victorious, and we are the same in Him. And we have to understand that, and we have to know how to endure through these things and not step back and jump on the bandwagon with the world, no matter how much pressure is there.
Right.
some things just are not our battle. Some things we just have to just hold on to our faith and just walk by that faith and put the blinders on. Put the blinders on to what's going on sometimes, and especially when we feel like we're being crushed by the ways of this world to try to get us to step back, or try to get us to be quiet, or try to get us to just join the team.
Exactly.
You know, just be part of the team.
That's right.
You know, so that's what we're just trying to tell you, that it's not going to be like a lot of preachers and teachers and stuff have told you it's going to be like this. But look, it is like that. When spiritually you're like that, that is where you live, is in the spirit.
Exactly.
We are not in the flesh anymore. We are in the spirit, and we are to hold on to that, and we can have that. But don't get it twisted and think that that's going to be in the physical world, because it's not.
Exactly.
You have to just live in the spirit.
That's right.
And not in the flesh.
You're exactly right. It's nothing personal, too, either, by the way. John 15:18 says, if the world hate you, you know it hated me before it hated you, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Matthew 24:37 tells you that, I'm going to explain this one time and one time only, and I pray that God just clear your heart of all confusion, that God just reaches out and touches you and reveals in your spirit that this is truth. The rapture that you have been promised all your life is a false notion. You are meant to know what's going to happen during the tribulation, and there's a reason for it. Otherwise, it would not be in the Bible, because it does not pertain to you. The Bible is not for those that are lost. The Bible is for those that know Jesus Christ, so that they know what they will be facing, that they will know what to do, so they will have some instruction to follow. You don't know anything before Genesis, so you have absolutely no idea where God came from, what he did before, how he formed heaven.
And we know that God has always been and always existed. We understand that.
Yes.
But it doesn't say what he was doing before.
And now?
Yes.
So, you know why you don't know that? It doesn't pertain to you yet. So that's why you don't have any instruction or knowledge on it yet. This is common sense speaking, and I hope that you can pick it up. If you look past Revelation, we don't know what's going to happen on the new heaven and the new earth. Do you? Because it's not written down, is it? Nobody knows. Nobody will know. Nobody will ever know until they are there and experience it. Then you will know. You know why? Because that does not pertain to you now. It will not pertain to you in the future.
Right.
It is not for us. You know what is in the Bible? That is for us. It goes all the way through tribulation. You know why? Because nowhere in the Bible does it say that Jesus Christ is going to snatch out his church and make 5 trips back to earth to pick up people, okay?
Right.
When you're being martyred for his sake during the tribulation, I would assume that you're a Christian during the tribulation. So, I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm just telling you. I want you to...
We have to understand, too, and the Bible is an instruction to righteousness. You know, it's an instruction book for Christianity. And the reason that I believe David said that it is for Christians is because, stop and think for a minute, how many non-believers are actually reading the Bible? I'm just saying, and I understand when the Holy Ghost brings you in and gives you that unction and calls you and you're being pulled. That's one thing. But another thing is it's hard enough to get Christians to actually crack their Bible open and read it. So a lot less likely for non-Christians to crack it open and read it. It shows us the things that we need to do. Most non-Christians are saved by going to church or through testimony or through evangelism. These are the ways that they're doing it, by your mouth, by hearing it being spoken. Very few are being saved by just opening the Bible and reading it. So that's why that was being said that way, because it shows all the way through the Bible who we are, where we come from, God's purpose for man, and then our purpose in the earth, and how to obtain and keep hold of that salvation and keep that reconciliation and that atonement that we have with God through Christ,
Exactly.
and the things to expect, what to look out for, and how to get through it.
Exactly. That being said, the world is about to get worse because Jesus says in Matthew 24:37, but as in the days of Noah were, so shall also be the coming of the Son of Man be. So,
Yes.
how was it in the days of Noah? Genesis 6:5-6 says, and God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. So people are only thinking about evil things, not a single good thing.
Right.
They were only thinking about wicked and evil thoughts constantly, continuously. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on earth, and it grieved him at his heart. God almost gave up hope and decided to wipe out the entire earth. But Noah found redemption in God's eyes. So one man saved the entire earth from being wiped out because God was so fed up with the evil of mankind. And that's the way it's going to be when the tribulation comes.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a very wicked place to be.
I think a lot of times people misunderstand that scripture of thinking that the Christians are going to be removed before the annihilation or the bad stuff really comes in and just wiping out everybody. The Battle of Armageddon is the one that's really going to do that.
Right.
And we are going to be taken up then, I believe, right before that.
Exactly.
That is at the end. That's after the tribulation. So, and look, you got to think too, God keeps us every single day here.
Exactly.
And look at all the dangers that's around us. We walk out into a dangerous world every single day. Every day. There are things out there that can take our life just like that.
Exactly.
So we have to understand, we have to have that faith in God and lean and press into God and know that He's going to keep us. Whether we're breathing or not, He's still going to keep us as long as we what? Endure to the end.
Exactly.
Endure to the end.
And that's what I want to talk about
Absolutely.
now. Absolutely. And
enduring to the end. That means so much. That means so much, enduring to the end.
Exactly. I know that you're suffering. I know that you're suffering because I suffer from time to time, and I work and sometimes I'm in tears praying for just a little bit of peace, a little bit of just I don't have to put up with it today, Lord. Just let it be that they just leave me alone. But it doesn't always work that way. And I try to conduct myself as best as I possibly can. And it's hard because it's emotionally hard, it's physically hard, and it's mentally hard. And your flesh is a flesh that wants to just it wants to just you really just want to pop somebody in the face. You really do. And I understand that. And I understand that you get discouraged. And that's why we want to give you some encouragement here. In Romans 12:17-21, it says, recompense or pay back to no man evil for evil.
Absolutely.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men, if it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, you feed him.
Yes.
If he thirst, give him drink. For in doing so thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Now, allow me to give you one more free scripture, and this one's just from my head. It says, pray for those who despitefully use you. Remember that, because you don't know what caused them to walk the way they walk. You don't know what is causing them to be so hard on you. You don't know why they're so mean to
Right.
you or evil to you or
Absolutely.
anything else.
Absolutely.
Pray for them. Pray for them
Yes.
always. And like it says, if they're hungry, feed them. If they're thirsty, give them drink. If they despitefully use you, pray for them. Pray for them that God will save them, that God will change their life, that God
Yes.
can make a difference, that they can see the God in you that will make them want to change, because that's what it's talking about when it says it will heap
Absolutely.
coals of flame on his head, because he will be so upset that you still love him no matter how much he's hated you, that it will just make him just burn himself up inside because he can't touch you.
Right.
Always
That's
remember,
living in the Spirit. Living in the Spirit. Yes.
I know it's difficult. Even Paul
Yes.
said, I have fought the good fight. Man, I have endured unto the end. That's what we have to do. We have to fight the good fight.
Yes.
We have to do good for evil.
Live in that joyful, candy-coated, chocolate, prosperous, wonderful spirit that we get as a Christian. The joy inside of us. Live in that and continue in that and endure all of these things that's coming against you. And we can endure these things that's coming against us when we're walking in the Spirit, when we're living in that Spirit and that joy that's within us.
Exactly. Matthew 24:13 says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
Absolutely.
And
yes,
I hope that this video has made sense to you, and I hope that I have given you a little bit of encouragement that you can make it no matter how bad the world gets and how difficult it seems to
yes,
you. God is there with you, walking with you every single day and every step to help you along. Lean on him, and if you have to, just take a breather and get down on your knees and just ask God for some peace, that you can continue to walk the walk that you need to do. Because I'm going to tell you something. This world is no different than being a fisherman lost at sea trying to fulfill your quota. And it's a perfect example because Jesus said, I will make you fishermen of men.
fishers of men, yes.
So we're not in the world when you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean. You can't get to land. You got no safety net.
Right.
You're out on your own. You're on your own because we are foreigners in a strange land.
Yes.
Our only duty on this earth is to try to save others and help others to reach
Yes.
the promised land, to fulfill our quota.
Glorify
We can't.
God, yes.
We cannot make it in to land that boat and stick it in the dock and get off that boat until we reach our quota. And our quota is the amount of people that we need to give Jesus to and the amount of people that we need to help. And we will not ever get off that boat until we fill our quota.
Absolutely. And you when we say pray for those that despitefully use you, pray for your enemies and bless them, you have to understand something. When you're praying for someone, and it may be your enemy, it may be somebody that hates you, but when you're praying for someone, it's really hard to hate them back.
Exactly.
It's hard to want to take vengeance on them. It's hard to do that. So when you pray for them, it takes you away from that physical response and brings you to that spiritual response.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you like this video, please comment, share, subscribe, like, do all those things if you don't mind. It sure helps the
It
videos.
helps to get the word out.
Exactly.
The more that likes we have, the more views that we have. It helps videos like this to get out to more people that are looking for videos like this.
Exactly. So until we see you next time, we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.